being in that experiment, you talk so much and you have to. So I think that was a really great foundation for us, that we do speak our minds and we do speak our truth to each other. And I think communication is definitely our strength of how, that we're always okay. We're definitely a team.
Hello and welcome. We would like to acknowledge the Gadigal people of the Eora Nation, the traditional custodians of this land, and pay our respects to elders both past and present. Welcome to Separate Bathrooms. I'm Daddo.
And I'm Daddo.
How are you, honey?
I'm really good, thanks.
It's the shot. I'm actually really looking forward to this chat today.
Me too.
I have seen this couple around our area.
Yep.
One, the husband, I know plays at the local cricket club, and I play golf with a lot of those guys, and they often decide to tell me, because we have the same first name, that they want to tell me about the other Cam.
And I have met his wife a few times, who's just lovely.
So let's do this. The latest series of Married at First Sight just aired. It certainly perpetuated the show's reputation for relationship hysteria and hype, raised questions over authenticity and manipulated editing, should we say that?
Yep.
What's new? So since 2015, we've witnessed train wrecks and the odd perfect matchup.
And today's guests happily fall into the latter. They have been amazing. That's one of the few success stories to come out of Married at First Sight. Meeting at the altar as strangers a little over 4 years ago, they got engaged at the end of their series and tied the knot in real life. And they truly have gone from strength to strength.
Let's hear about life after Married at First Sight. Please welcome Jules Robinson and Cameron Merchant to the bathroom. Welcome, Cam and Jules, to the bathroom. Great to see you both.
What a bathroom it is.
What a bathroom it
so lovely
is.
to be here. Thank you, guys.
You guys look fabulous as always.
Shiny. All right, now you blasted onto Aussie TVs. It was like 4.5 years ago. You were a featured part of Married at First Sight. Juggernaut of a show. It's a guilty pleasure for sure. We've tuned into how many seasons? Is it 12?
It's up to 10.
10.
Up to 10.
Okay.
I don't know if we've seen 10.
I think we have.
Have we?
I think we have.
It feels like 10 even if you haven't.
That's a lot of
You
time.
watch the English version too, don't you?
I'm hooked.
Yeah. I can imagine why, because you've lived it. So it must, all the backstories and
You
ins
watch
and
it with
outs
different eyes. When
Yeah,
you've
of
been on it, for
course.
sure.
You do.
Yeah.
And she's so invested, my wife. Absolutely. Whereas I just tune in sort of dinner parties and cocktail parties because
Right.
that's reminiscing some good times for me. I really enjoyed that. So I tune in for that, but Jules is all over the rest of it.
It's the one show we can get. He's moved out just recently, but it's the one show our 22-year-old son will absolutely always watch with us. So we're like, yes, we've got our son to sit with during that. We make lots.
Just bringing the family together. That's what it's doing, isn't it?
That's right.
But it is.
You
It's a
learn.
bit like adult Sesame Street, like what to do and what not to do.
What not to do.
Yeah.
And
And very clear.
And then you watch the Gogglebox people deal with it, and you realise they're saying the same stuff that we are as we throw our dinner at the telly, going, no.
I'm always so wanting love to make it, which is why you two it's just so glorious where you guys are and the fact that you made it and little Ollie's here. And I mean, have you found that people have that same experience with you? They're always like, yes, keep going. We want to see where your life and relationship goes.
They do. I think we only have the nicest things when people do come up to say
Yeah.
hello and sort of have that twinkle in their eye. And we're so grateful for that because we sometimes think that was 4.5 years ago.
Yeah.
That's a long time ago. So to stay sort of, I guess, relevant in their eyes, in their hearts of what actually they saw unfold on TV was
And people feel a part of it, and that's really lovely. Like for me, I always say, like when a woman like beelines me in the street and I'm like, oh my God, do I know you?
Yeah.
And they, women talk to me like they know me. And
Yeah.
when they say things like, you make me believe that I'm going to find my guy, and things like that, I'm like, if I've done that in the world, that's great. And even when I went to London last year for some work and I was on the tube and people were going, Charles, oh my God, and saying the same kind of things like in another country. And I'm like, it blows my mind. It's crazy, isn't it?
We were in Belgium a couple of years ago, the same sort of thing when it aired over there. And in the middle of Belgium, bedroom and you're thinking, and a couple of girls came up and said, "Oh my gosh, is it really you?" And we're like, "I don't know who you think we are, but we're just tourists here in your country." Yeah. And they did like, "Oh my God, Cam and Jules," and we're like, "This is unbelievable in terms of what it's done."
And that's love. I feel like that's the power of love. You know, we do get excited by that, and I love that.
I'll tell you one thing we do figure out what we are now, and in looking back at it is naive, because we generally do go, wow, we were all in, because that was exactly what we were after, exactly what we wanted. We were in very good places in our life separately.
Right.
And then, but we look back and when we're watching the rest of the series and go, how naive were we to think that it was going to work out? But it just obviously did. We were, like I said, in great places and we worked together, and this is where it's at. But it's like, geez, I guess the rates aren't tip top.
They're not.
They're not great. The odds aren't
Yeah.
sort of stacked against you, but we found a way, and it's been beautiful, and so grateful for it.
Yeah, because it's not guaranteed, is it? I mean, some people, even in the latest seasons, have gone in with the best intentions, and clearly it has not worked out for them. How were you found? How were you discovered to go on the show? How does that happen?
I love the first fact you emphasised clearly didn't work out, Cam. So, but I was at a bar. I was literally midweek at a bar with three of my best mates who were all married, all kids, and I was a single guy. And a couple of producers literally came up and said, "Hi, anyone single?" And they all went, "You, that guy." And they said, "We're filming for a reality TV show, relationships. Are you interested?" And I went, "Is it Married at First Sight by any chance?" And I just knew the next series because I watched the series before. Yeah. And they said it is. Told them my story, and it sort of just unfolded from there.
Well, I actually applied. I did a video on the couch. I woke up at like 11:45 on the couch, and I was like, it closes in 15 minutes. And I just had that gut feeling of, I don't do this, I'm going to regret it. And my video is like literally like my hair's everywhere. I look like a mess. And I just basically said, I'm a catch and I'd be a great wife.
And you were right.
What time of day was this? Did you say?
11:45 p.m.
At
night. Yeah. And it was 12 p.m. was the cutoff. And I had it in my diary, and I was like, you know what, if I don't do it, I'm going to regret it. And something from the moment I applied, I just knew I had it. It was weird. I just was like, I'm going on this show. And
there's quite a, I imagine, well, there would have to be quite a vetting process for people that want to go
6
on.
months.
And even though some of these people do seem to get through the cracks, I'm saying these people being like...
Get through, they get chosen for that reason.
They're going to cause drama. Yes,
like you're never told what to do. Like, yes, people get puppeted because of the 6 months of psychiatric testing.
Yeah.
You know, you get asked so many questions about yourself that they know who is who, you know, and they know that put you in a situation or put something in front of you, how maybe you might react. So you're never told to like say this or do that. It is reality, but just amplified. Let's put it that way.
And they've got their formula and they know how to work it. It's not the number one rating show on TV for a reason.
I mean, it's crazy. So look, I remember when I was 18 and suddenly I was thrust into the public spotlight. We didn't have the social media and things that are out there today that push things along like they were. But I remember finding it quite difficult to navigate. It was hard to wrap my head around 15-year-old girls chasing me down the street and things like that.
I'm sure it wasn't.
No, it was actually
born for
because
that,
I was
have a look at you,
mate.
Tore his shirt off at one point.
There was moments there where I was getting letters saying I'm going to kill myself if you don't do something like this. So I ended up with a psychiatrist,
right?
Going, how do I deal with this? And he says it's not your problem, you know, because it was all mail. Yeah. It was all bags of fan mail coming into Channel 10. But what was it like for you guys? I mean, Cam, you're a cricketer, and what were you doing, Jules? Before?
Hair and makeup stylist.
Okay, so you're behind the camera, but you're dealing with actors and so on forth, doing hair and makeup and things. But now suddenly you're in front of the camera, and people know who you are. Like you just said, you know, you don't know. Someone's not seen you on the street, and you're going, "Shit, do I know them?" Yeah. I mean, we go through that all the time. I just pretend that I do. Then if I'm really cranky, I'll go, I don't know you. Do I know you? How do I know you?
It's all about the enthusiasm and the conviction of the, how are you, mate? Yeah, all going good. It was fantastic. And someone usually asks me, who is that? I said, I have no idea, but God bless them. They're good bloke.
Yeah, right on. So how do you guys deal with this? How did you deal with it?
I think at the beginning, like most rookie errors, you read a lot of things and eventually you learn not to read a lot of things.
Are you talking about social media comments?
Yeah, social media comments, things like that. But when it first happened, we obviously, after our wedding on TV, we had to go to Channel 9, I think in the morning for live morning TV. And then we went home and I don't think we left home for 2-3 days. I mean, we had paps all outside our door, all the way up the street. And where we lived in Double Bay, we could always pop our head out and see them. And we ended up knowing, the untrained eye, you can't notice them. And eventually you're like, okay, I know that car, I know that scooter. So we stayed inside for about 3 days because it was so overwhelming. It was an explosion that you could never prepare yourself for. You knew it was going to happen, but it was just so, and Series 6 was an explosion, like globally. So it was a lot and a lot comes with it. And you do have to change a little bit and equip yourself for that exterior noise. We both do kinesiology, which helps us with that little bubble that we put around ourselves for protection, for not letting people upset us. So, and it's not a sad thing, but it's just become our life where you do have that exterior noise. And I think we're both very independent and strong and have a great support around us that all that really matters is how we feel about ourselves and the people close to us. But that's taken time, trust me. There's been tears, there's been a lot of heartache along the way with this amazing journey, which has been nothing but incredible. But there has been dark times to it where it's been really sad, from people thinking that they know you or your integrity as a human, not so much about what you look like, couldn't care, just rubs off me when people troll for my body image or how I look. But when it's about you as a person or how you treat people, that's been tough times for us.
I was going to ask you, what do people get wrong about you both?
It's not so much now, but back, like around our wedding and that, like, I was like, if you've read anything about me, I was this horrible bridezilla, blocking off, I remember there was something like blocking off streets and the way I spoke to people in my wedding and just a load of crap. What you should write in those circumstances.
Sure.
What the press thinks they should write. So just things like that, really.
I love when Jules and I are hand in hand with Ollie and someone comes up and they go, oh my God, you're still together. No, or they make it like it was a statement. It's like, you're still together. It's like, yes, mate, we have a kid and a child and we are still together. Yeah. It's like, state the obvious, but it is funny.
Yeah. But as I said, we it's all kind of been and gone, that kind of hard time, but definitely won't forget it. Yeah.
Jules, you especially have gone on to like crazy heights. Clearly your work ethic is amazing. What have you got? You've got Figure, you've got More Muse, you've got a book coming out, you've got the Juggling Act. How are you juggling all of that and where does all that come from? Like, what is your work ethic?
I think I get it from my father, that's for sure. He's always been someone that just doesn't sit down. And even if he'd like have a little like power nap, people are like, wasn't asleep.
Right. Seriously. Just resting my eyes.
Yeah. Yes. I know, it's like it demasculizes him if he sleeps for 2 seconds.
Yeah.
But I've always been a real worker. I left school when I was 15 and bright lights, hair and makeup, loved it. Went to London for 14 years, had an incredible career there. And coming back to Sydney, hair and makeup and my businesses were created actually from going on MAFS, to be honest. Like Figure was created from sitting around that dinner table and the parties and going to the toilet and wearing shapewear and it never fitted right and had to take my whole outfit off and then the being trolled and body shamed, then having so many women be so positive about my body image and saying, I want to dress like you and I love your confidence. I want to feel like you do. And then I made my superpower, which was Figure. So that's why the branding's got such a strong message of just work what you got, ladies. Be proud of whatever shape you are. More Muse was then definitely the next lead on to that, which is size inclusion fashion and quality made clothing as well. And then I've recently, another business, Status Quo in Barangaroo. So it's a cocktail bar, but you have your hair and makeup done in the bar. So gone back to my roots. So that's launching. Well, it's launched, but not officially big launch next month. That will happen. So
you have a cocktail and get your hair and makeup.
Yeah, it's amazing. So
we've been sort of doing that in the barber shop, though. You can get a beer at some barbers, don't they?
You can get espresso martinis on tap here.
Martinis on tap.
And I'm pouring them shirtless. So
oh my God.
It's a really good time.
Even more of a reason to go in.
Yeah.
As long as the hairdresser and makeup artist isn't drinking as well.
No,
that's where you end up with like one wonky eyebrow.
Yeah. But I got to say, we're very much a team. I could not do what I do without the support of Cam and how much he is my, has my back and he has my hand through everything. So that's very much true. So thanks, husband.
So does that mean, husband, that you're mentoring your young son most of the time while mama's off doing all these things?
No, we definitely have sort of shared time that we have
Shared
together
diary.
and shared diaries, and we also just have packs of when you've got to be busy or when you've got to be productive and work, then you do that. And we're very lucky that if it's back home, then it's I've got him, or vice versa. If we need to do anything on our emails or on our phones or socials or whatever, that we're both really understanding of that. That's not in front of our son. If you need to do something, no problems at all. But we've both got each other's back in the roles that we play and the time that we spend with each other is really important.
Yeah, we've always just kind of thought that it's really important to still be to individuals, and we also do a lot of things together, but we do things apart as well.
Isn't it amazing that there you are, you meet each other at an altar, 4.5 years ago or something, you're total strangers, but then through the oddest means of connections and universal whatever magic, you get put together and you go through it and you come through it together. You get married for real. And then you've got your son. How old is Ollie now?
He's 2.5.
2.5.
He's 2.5 and you're working together. I mean, it's really an incredible story, isn't it, Al?
Absolutely.
I mean, how it's like kind of unbelievable. It's against all odds.
And we put it down to our journey is so similar in terms of as individuals and away from it, from life, travel, career, work, you name it. When we come together and talk about them, we go, wow, our journeys are so very similar. And we know that we did a lot of work on ourselves throughout the time. We both sort of probably hit rock bottom at one stage. We sort of go on a roller coaster of life and emotions and everything like that. But we did the work that enabled us to then, when this opportunity came along, the universe didn't lie and it said, yes, you're both ready for it.
Yeah.
And we were. And then so we were both ready for it within ourselves. And we always put it down to this, that when we went into it and we're dealing with a toxic environment, lots of people that in general, realistically, you wouldn't hang out with in real life,
Right.
but you've got to do that. And it's the bubble that is. And then not only that, to give each other the chance to look so much more further than the aesthetics. And then we sort of fell in love with each other that way because we were so open. And that was the...
Like, I didn't order you. I didn't order you either.
That's exactly it. We didn't order each other in terms of what we would date in a previous life type of thing. So, but we were so open for that. But then something happened at the altar that we just connected.
Yeah.
And the experiment within itself gave us that chance to have 3 months with each other, really close, and go, wow, there's so much more to it. And we fell in love that
When
way.
we got to lockdown, we're like, I've done this once. We can do it again, guys.
Yeah, that's right.
It's basic.
You, Cam, you always have such a wonderful zest for life. And, I've seen you on Instagram, and I know, Jules, you often talk about him being like your second child almost, like the enthusiasm. In a good way. And you really champion men's health a lot. Is that something that you've been challenged with yourself?
It is. It's so funny. I think about it this way, and a lot of people see me and they go, oh, Cam, sometimes you're a professional cricketer, and I was, and then you just went on a TV show and you got married and everything's great for you. Yeah. And I go, that's great. Yes, it is now, but no one sees the 10 years prior, what I had to deal with. And that was sort of after cricket. Once I lost purpose in cricket, and I sort of lost my way. I lost my purpose. I lost a lot of value in life, and I hit rock bottom. And at the time, it was the worst thing in the world. And it got to the stage where I genuinely thought, this is it. This is possibly it. And you go down a path to think, well, do I continue on, or do I take the worst case scenario, or do I just draw a line in the sand and go, okay, I know where I'm at. I'm accepting of where I'm at, but I believe there's still happiness within me, and that can be for the future. And I did. I chose that path. I went down there. I took pure responsibility and accountability for my life and my choices. And I was just open then to going, okay, I'm not where I want to be, but if I learn and grow and crawl my way back, possible things are happening. And it did. I was open to wellness. I was open to learning, and little small wins came across the way. And then you always go 2 steps back, but then 1 step forward, and then you just find little things that work for you. And then life has just got a funny way of just throwing momentum and opportunities at you that you just grasp and take when you're ready for them. I'm a huge believer in that. And I sit here and just sometimes pinch myself. But I'm a huge advocate for men's health and health in general, because I was at a stage where I was in a bad way. And I didn't have any sort of support or help, and I didn't know what to do. I know there's a lot of people struggling and being challenged in today's world. I would never want anyone to go through what I felt.
Yep.
And that's why I'm such an advocate and just a champion for what I do, to give people that hope, because I genuinely believe I'm a walking, living, breathing example that things can get better if you just give yourself a chance.
You truly are.
Yeah.
Thank you, honey.
Oh, that's beautiful.
I am too. I'm with you. And I'm just curious. Just was it when you say, you know, one step forward, two steps back? Was it just breaking things down? Was into like little small chunks, doable chunks? Was it something like as simple as saying yes to opportunities? Go a little deeper for me into that.
I'll go
when you were down.
one step. Saying yes to trying to put pants on was my biggest challenge at one stage. I was mentally, physically crippled that there was a morning I sort of got up and I was so mentally crippled that I couldn't put a pair of pants on. And that was the absolute rock bottom for me. It was like I just physically couldn't get, and then the self-sabotage and the negativity bias comes over your mind to say, are you kidding me? Like, where's your life right now? You were once a cricketer. Now you can't even put pants on. What type of human are you? And then you've just got to stop and go, well, you know what? This is where I am right now.
Yep.
And I've just got to accept it. But, you know, I'll find the next stage to be able to put that on. And then so that's as detailed as it can be.
Yeah.
One small step. And then it was literally trying to get out of even bed or my room to go to the letterbox to put a load of washing on was a huge win. And I just accepted it. And when you start small and start just adding small tasks and small wins like that, again, it's just momentum just builds up to it. So yes, there was a stage where I couldn't put pants on, to now where I'm in here talking with you guys and happily talking to an audience online or on TV or whatever it might be.
Yeah.
I'm so grateful because I never forget where I came from. That's why even if I'm still having my down days or my challenging days, I go, okay, this is where we were. Remember your obligation to helping others that might be in that same situation.
Yeah. Small bites.
Yep.
Small bites.
Thankfully, you do have your pants on.
Thank you, mate. Are you sure? Yeah, no, I do.
Yeah, they're very handsome pants. Barack Obama says, you know, if you want to feel better about yourself, do something for someone else.
100%.
You know, and I think that's a great start, isn't it?
That biochemistry that it changes in your brain when you're actually giving back or serving others is actually helps you get out of your own way to help you. So there's almost like a self-serving in yourself, but
Sure.
but to do it for others, unbelievable.
Yeah.
Opening that conversation, realizing that others are struggling. How can I help you? Or put a smile on your face. And I always say, someone walking past. How often when a stranger comes past, you have that awkward smile. Just keep smiling at them, and then they could be having whatever day they're having, and they eventually crack that smile. Watch how much that can just change a difference in there, and it only takes a moment to change an hour to a day to a week to a life, and that one moment has got the opportunity to do that.
Yep. Absolutely.
Love it.
It's so simple. It's so simple, and
easy.
everyone can do it.
Yep.
You just got to
It's a
get out
ripple
of
effect.
find a way to
Yeah.
get out of your own way, or pull your pants on.
Yeah, that's a slogan
True
right there.
though. Yeah, it is.
Love it.
I think we should do something. Twin cams pulling our pants on.
Beautiful. Beautiful. There's your clickbait right there.
Right,
Perfect.
there it is. Obviously, you've had your beautiful little boy, Ollie. What has been the most surprising thing about becoming parents?
Oh,
Well, I think the first thing was how much we didn't think we could love each other even more when in that moment. Like we both say, it was just
Another
love.
level.
Yeah.
the love bubble when it first happened, the oxytocin. You're just like, oh God, you couldn't even leave the room without patching each other. You're like,
Miss you
Surprised
when
we
I
didn't have
get
another.
you.
We hadn't had another one under 9 months, but it was exactly.
oh, thank God we didn't.
I know.
We hope to have another baby this
Yeah.
year, like get pregnant this year, which
Yep.
would be great. Manifesting a little girl or twins, get it to go.
Wow.
We'd like more kids. So
Yeah.
Absolutely.
yeah, which would be really exciting. So what would be the biggest thing? Oh, I think the love, my son's obsession with dinosaur. I think that's got to surprise anyone. It's next level, isn't it? It's like not normal.
Yeah, right.
It's not. But then I guess the responsibilities that we've had for each other, again, more communication, then that's gone to another level. And then I just think the patience that we've shown with ourselves and with our son as well.
Not all the time,
Not all the
trust me.
time when he's in our bed.
That's parenting.
Yeah, but that's parenting, and you don't know until you're faced with it.
Absolutely. Nothing tests you more than being a parent.
Well, when we've both decided very early on, there's no point both of us being knackered. So Cam has an amazing ability where he falls back to sleep within 2 seconds. So Cam always did the night shift.
Hit his partner.
Yeah, like it's because
Yeah.
he's so zen though. It's because he's zen and he just goes like that. Me, I'm awake 2 a.m. That's it. I'm up for the day.
Yep.
So we're like, okay, there's no point both of us being absolutely knackered. So he very kindly always did it's just being a team, because there's no point. You're tired and you get the shits and you're angry at each other. Like we need to be a team, not actually attack each other. So we did that very early on, which has worked for me very well.
Do you find that you do things the same as your folks did, or you actively or consciously doing things your way?
Try not to.
Yeah, I think if there's one thing that we come about, it is that I reckon all parents just were trying to do their best in the time and
what they knew
of
was
what
the
they knew
best
in that
thing.
time.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And we both came together and went there, and we both just said, "Look, this is how our parents did it. We're going to learn from that to generally not do how they did because that didn't work for us."
Not in a bad way.
Not in a bad way,
we
but-
drop our son to my parents now and we'd say we're dropping him off at boot camp. Like we pick him up from boot camp. He's a different child. They're very military, old school, like smack, that's how they are.
Okay.
And raise their voice. And maybe it works a little way for him. But we were like, let's try and do something different. Like we're definitely more emotional with him and talk to him. And, I think we end up trying everything, but we're very open to different ways of trying to get the best from him.
Yeah.
So when Ollie comes home from the folks' place, you said he's well behaved.
He comes home a saint.
He does. He's like a new child.
Genuine boot camp, that's what we call it. And he comes home and he comes home and he's got his own routines, but something about kids when they're with their grandparents or other people, they have a completely different routine. But when it's with us, all of a sudden, like he will sleep from 7 p.m. till 7:30 a.m.
Yeah.
With your folks?
with
them?
with Jules' folks.
Yeah.
And then there'll be like nap time. They're like, come on, nap. He'll literally just take himself off, get into bed. And we're like, who is this child?
Wow.
And then when he comes back to us, my parents are like, doesn't do that for us.
Yeah.
I'm like, yes, Mum, we know. It's us. It's
Yeah,
us.
it's always like a nice little jab. They're like,
Yeah.
no, he doesn't do that with us. You've got some.
It's the same with kids at school because when I'm teaching and the parents will go, oh no, he'll never do that. He won't. You won't get him to do this. He'll never put his indoor shoes or whatever it is. No problem whatsoever.
So-
It's so different because it's parents.
Okay, so teacher then, you put your teacher hat
well,
on.
there's
Is it the
nothing-
boundaries that you're setting? Is it what the folks are doing?
Well, yeah, there's nothing. There's nothing sort of at risk in at home. So, but with another adult, and you get those boundaries in straight away.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's different. It's just a different thing. I mean,
He just knows he can get away with murder with us because we're
Absolutely.
always going to be there. That's what it is.
Right.
It's
And
always a nice
And
thing.
I'm usually on the phone straight away to our sleep teacher and she'll just say, these little kids' minds, like they're so rigid and so fragmented that he's got completely different routines and thoughts for where he is with his parents. And that's just what's in his mind, but he knows straight away when he's with us, it's a completely different. So his brain, it's almost not him, it's his brain is working different routines
Yeah.
of what they need to do. Yeah. So I'm on the phone going, please, what's going on? Because I'm sitting there trying to just cuddle him to bed or whatever it is. But he takes himself off to bed. He's like, night, everyone, see ya.
Yeah.
When he's with his
See you
parents,
guys.
it's like you can imagine that. But with us, it's just different story.
It's joy.
What do you think the best thing is that you could pass on to Oliver?
Season 6 that Channel 9 gave us to us on video, high definition, and he can watch our whole story.
that is actually really cool.
Yeah.
Could you
We're so
imagine?
excited to give it to him.
I know.
Yeah.
So
This
when
is
we
me,
actually-
me and your mum,
That's exactly
Yeah.
right.
meeting for the first time, I would die for that. and to see
Imagine
that
you guys had,
Right.
your own sort of version of when you two met and your sort of whole
Love
story
it.
together. You
Yeah.
go, kids, you just go and watch this.
Yeah.
Channel 9, when we left, and we're so grateful for it, they
No, it was when Ollie was born. They gave it
yes,
to us.
they took
Yeah.
put the whole series
on a hard
on a
drive.
hard drive and gave it to us as our real wedding present, and it's sitting there waiting for it. I mean, I watch it every single night, the good stuff, but we look forward to him just journeying and watching that. So there you go, mate. There's a few good hours of what you've been brought into.
I know. What age will you show it to him, do you reckon?
I reckon he'd probably need to be like 12, 13.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he won't get it otherwise.
No, I don't think
Or
so.
appreciate it, I think.
Yeah, unless there's no dinosaurs in Married at First Sight, then I don't think he really cares. Really.
Well, there's a few old folks, isn't there?
Yeah.
I think I was one of them. Wasn't I meant to be one of the dinosaurs?
Was season 6 still with the New Zealand sex therapist? Are you having sex?
Intimacy.
Yeah, Trish.
Oh, yeah.
Intimacy, that was
Trish,
still
yeah.
her.
Was there
Yeah.
intimacy?
Yeah, she was. She'd sit in the
Intimacy.
middle, and it was so late at night. We're talking like these commitment ceremonies would go till like 3 a.m. in the morning, and so
They'd prop her up.
They'd
She'd
prop
be
her
like
up.
in
She'd
the
be
middle like that.
in the
Oh,
middle.
God.
Poor thing. Oh,
And her little eyes are closed. Trish, God bless her. She was wonderful, but
So lovely.
we just go, you're like, we're tired. She's exhausted.
Yeah. You can every now and again you see, particularly John. I feel like is like, oh, Jesus, just get
Yeah, they
me
cut away
out
to
of
him and
here.
he's
They
got
go- and he's like, oh, John.
He's unleashed though now in the last 2 years. I think he's like, I'm just going to say what I think.
Yes.
Yeah, I think he's got fed up. I mean, he
Yeah.
gets
Fed up.
ruthless every year as it goes, and he's great. John and I have a wonderful relationship. Because funny enough, him and I played in the same professional cricket team, Wellington Firebirds in New Zealand. It was one of our first conversations off air. I think we just
Man
finished
crush here, everyone.
It was
FYI.
we just finished like the dinner party or just had a break, and we went out there, and he goes, oh, mate, you and I have got something in common, and I went, oh, right, we're both on this this show. He goes, no. We both played for Wellington Firebirds professional cricket in New Zealand, and we just hit it off from there. It was
clearly not in the same team.
not in the same team, no,
Yeah.
but very similar. And I think it was 2 years after, or a year after we finished filming everything like that, and he came down to Chatswood Oval. I think he lives around there, and he'd watch me bat, and we'd just chat like great fella. Really loved it. Yeah, so much more to him. But then in general, what I love about the commitment ceremonies, they would go for a long period of time, but Jules and I would often say there is so much gold that those experts are bringing. They just happen to, Channel 9 just happened to cut the real juicy stuff, but the actual tips and advice that they're giving relationships were phenomenal. Really
Yeah,
were.
if you're in a pickle, like you do get a absolute complete session with an expert.
Wow.
And that's why you'd be there till 3 a.m. because there's a lot of stuff going down,
Yeah,
right?
sure.
So, I mean, we get on the couch for I think 10 minutes was our maximum. They're like, keep doing what you're doing, guys. And we're like, just give us something. Give us some advice.
Yep.
But it was, we'd kind of sit there and listen and learn and be like, there's a lot of value in this.
When the other couples, they'd go, everyone would busting to go to the toilet, and they go, okay, we're going to get through one more couple, and everyone go, Cam and Jules, 10 minutes, quick, get them on, get them off, and then we'd have to go to the toilet break because everyone was on there for hours. But here we get on, hi guys, everything good? Yep, sweet. And we're just, oh God,
Yeah,
now we have to listen to everyone.
Well, I imagine if they did let you go to the toilet, like have a break, and you're halfway through a session with
Yes.
with a couple, that you could all go to the blokes that go and collude in the dunny and go, mate, you should say this, you should say that.
Yeah.
When you
Turn
go
the
back
mics
to
off.
this,
Scratching the mics, everyone.
Oh,
emergency.
absolutely.
That's the hot tip.
Yeah, that's
Scratch.
it.
Who taught you that?
Oh,
Okay, so let me just say this to the listener. So when we're on sets, we wear often mics that are radio mics that are hidden in buttons or parts of clothing or in your hair, something like that. So one way, when you know that the microphone is on and the audio people are listening to you, you can scratch the microphone.
Yep.
So they have to turn you off or turn you down because they don't want to be sitting there listening to it.
Yep.
And they know. But so I'd been in the business for, 20 years, working as an actor. And then one day I was working with this girl and she starts talking about something that's completely not part of what we were doing, and she's scratching her boob or scratching between her boobs. I'm like, what are you doing? She goes, they can hear us. I was like, what a great trick.
There you go.
20
So who taught you guys
Late
that?
bloomer.
Yeah, I don't know who taught us, but I just remember it sort of obviously cottoned on every time we'd go in after a segment or something, and everyone would be like, and just scratching away. It's like, mate, have you got a bad rash there, or what's going on? No. And then okay, this is what's going on. Type of thing. But it was,
Scratching your
we sort of, you feel like you're living on the edge a little bit when you're doing it. You look back now and go, oh my goodness.
We actually had Mel from the other therapist from Married at First Sight on.
Mel Schilling, wonderful.
Yeah, and that's what one of the questions we asked her. I said, so do you actually spend a lot of time counselling the couples? And she goes, oh my God, we spend 1 hour, 2 hours on the couch sometimes. And I'm like, and we only get 2 minutes
of it, yeah.
She said, yeah. She said they cut so much good stuff. So I was actually really heartened by that because sometimes it just seems like you can't just leave them them like that,
Yeah,
you know. But clearly there's a lot more that goes
Or
on.
if they're cutting out of just a moment where they've had a good crack at them, like that's juicy stuff that you need there. If it was a 4-hour segment on channel on a Sunday night, and people wanted some genuine advice, then they put that in there. But it's just not the way it is. But we would sit there literally in our hands like this, just going, okay, give us some more stuff. Like it was again, with anything that happens, if you were open to it and open to learning, geez, there was some good stuff that they threw in there. Absolutely.
Cam, tell us about, just changing topic a little bit, you are doing some amazing things in your life right now. Can you tell us some of the things that you're up to?
Yes, I'd love to. And first and foremost, I feel that my purpose is men's mental health and mental health and opening up conversations in general. So the majority of that is exactly what I do and how I do it. And I just look, and it doesn't even, not even men's mental health in general, well-being. I had a conversation yesterday, and I'm so passionate about this. I went and got lunch. I couldn't sit inside, had to sit on a park bench, and the lunch got brought to me because there was no other seats. I sat down, and I think we're so engaged in our phones, and when you just sit there on your own, you put your phone in your face, and that doesn't allow you to have a conversation. And funny enough, there was the girl that allowed me to sit there, and we both just went, okay, we're not going to have our phones in our face, and we're actually going to engage and have a conversation. And we did, and it turned into the most incredible, engaging and meaningful conversation I've had for a long time. And I don't think that's, whether it's a waiter, a waitress, a stranger, and I think when you give yourself...
You met with a stranger, everyone.
Yeah. I met up with a stranger.
Oh, no, you were saying in such a long time. I'm like, oh, cheers.
Oh, right, that's where I was. Okay. Or a stranger that is now a friend, but I gave it that opportunity to put it down, and it was, and turns out that she runs a travel company for people with autism and a social group who are just trying to get together. She's obviously big heart, and now has created this company to bring kids with autism, connecting them together and giving them this incredible experience. I wouldn't have known that or talked about that if we had just stuck our heads in our phone.
Yeah, right.
So, long story short, I just want to open up conversations about mental health and have people feeling more vulnerable than ever. Ken, we talked about it, people leaning in. I know you do some amazing stuff with your group. Leaning in, having that vulnerability. But it starts with someone doing that. And I want to be that person where people go, oh, but rather than seeing you here you are, whether you're on a pedestal or whatever, and things are great for you, it's like, no, again, it wasn't. This is where I'm at. I think that can start the ripple effect to a lot of whether there's social status, whether you're a performer, artist, professional sportsman, and then we sort of work our way. Everyone can feel inspired to have those conversations. Yeah. That's the way we break down the mental health statistics that are going down. So I'm so passionate about that, again, mainly because I dealt with it. I've come through it. I'm a living example of it. And my other one is cricket and cricket mentoring. I'm so passionate about that. But it's sort of...
Gotcha for life?
Yes. Yeah, it goes from the mentoring part has gone from a physical part to young kids and helping them, not from a physical point of view, but from a mental point of view, to build self-confidence, self-development, and understand their sort of values and their boundaries and their self-worth within themselves. Because I think it starts at a young age. It doesn't start now. If you decide you're mid-20s, 30s, 40s, and you want to and you want more and trying to build that self-development in your life, that's great. But I think we can get to these kids at a really, really young age. And the way I see that is that I'm teaching my son, who's 2, everything that I would love or whatever that might be. And that's how I see it. And as a parent, and you guys as parents, you think that's how I would want my child to be raised, or have the understanding and the self-development of themselves. So that's a huge one for me. And then, Gotcha for Life. I'm very fortunate to work with Gus Walton, the team at Gotcha for Life with mental health and bringing down that statistic.
It's amazing. I agree with you in that we do need to take care of the older guys who don't have the tools and want to have the tools. Mm-hmm. We need to take care of them, but also teach our youngies at the same time. And I would say in my language, I'd call you a fire starter, which is great, because we need the fire starters out there, because when you share what you've been through, it allows others, gives them permission to speak without it, it's not you saying, "Oh, your turn to talk now," but they hear you.
Yes.
And speaking, hear you speaking your thoughts and your feelings, and they, "Oh yeah, I had that as well," and allowing the space for other people to fill it with their story.
Yes.
It's amazing work.
It is. Thank you, mate. I appreciate that, Cam. It's just literally breaking down the stigma of mental health and literally trying to define the two. Health is health no matter what. We've all got physical health, but we go to a hospital when we've broken our arm and get a cast, and we all sort of go, "Oh, look, come and sign my cast," and we'll place it even on Instagram or whatever it might be. The difference is, hey, something's not. I'm feeling a little bit behind today mentally.
Yeah.
And people go, "Whoa, hey, yeah," but so it's defining the two, bring them together. That health is health no matter what.
Yeah.
That's where we sort of need to get to in order for a lot of people to feel a lot better and a lot more comfortable in sharing their story.
Well, we're so in tune with our physicality, aren't we? But we're not so in tune with our mental and our emotional side of things. So it's creating emotional fitness, isn't it?
That's
we
exactly
go
what it
work
is.
out and we watch what we eat and all that sort of stuff, but we don't. How many of us are actually paying attention to our emotional fitness, and so good. And Jules, you're working with Michael Franti.
Yes. So Michael Franti is a global rock star, I think we could call him.
Yeah.
We were fortunate enough to meet him in Bali last year. We went to a soul rocker, what would you call it?
Retreat?
Yeah, that's the right word.
7-day yoga spiritual
7-day
retreat.
Yeah. and
I'd love to. Can you just tell the story of how this sort of came about and how it came? Do you mind?
I'll go for it.
So pretty much the month of October was so jam-packed for us. And when you're sort of just going, you're so flat out that you don't know the next thing or at least even have time to research it. Anyway, finally we're going this beautiful family holiday to Bali.
I told him it was a family holiday.
Family holiday, the three of us. In my head, it's Bali on the beach, drinking a couple of bintangs on pina coladas. I'm having a great time. Like reading books, that's where it's at. So we arrive on Jetstar, amazing, at maybe 1 or 2 in the morning into Bali. And I've got Ollie, he's been a jet. And then finally we're making our way up the mountains because we're going to Ubud. I don't know where Ubud is. I just know where the beach was. And it's not for 20, 25 minutes that I say to Jules, and it clocks on. I'm like, hun, we're nowhere near the beach here.
Like, we've been so busy, I hadn't even told him
him
where we're going,
No,
what we're
didn't tell
doing.
him.
I was like, just pack your things. We're going to Bali. We're going on holiday.
Yeah.
And then so we get there, and then in the morning we get up for 7:30 yoga. So we were cooked. We had 3 hours sleep.
We get there to reception at 2 a.m. in the morning. First, I'm like, we're nowhere near the beach. So there's already a cross. And then the receptionist and manager invited, congratulations, welcome. Just so you know, you've got yoga at 7:30 in the morning. And I'm like, I look at Jules and I'm like, you got to be kidding me. Like, what? And he's like, yeah. And I'm like, okay, how long does that go for? And you're thinking 35 an hour, 2 hours. Like, I've literally gone 2 hours
This is
of
not a
yoga.
holiday.
I can't hold my thoughts for
I'm waiting for the
minutes.
bintang, baby.
100%. I said, does it come with bintang during the session? And so I'm thinking, unbelievable. So we get to our room. Sorry, honey, you can.
No. And then in the morning, so obviously we slept for a couple of hours and we're like, okay, let's do it. And then around the room, then Cam's picking up a few little flyers and things. He's like, oh my God, Michael Franti's here. And I'm like, yeah, it's a Michael Franti, soul rocker. This is why we're here. And he's like, oh my God, I love Michael Franti. I actually honestly hadn't heard of Michael Franti, but Cam was like going, oh, this is his song and he's downloading on YouTube. And I was like, yeah, great. Anyway, so went into our first session of yoga, and it was
We're late. So there's 60 people in the room. There's only 2 spots left. We're late. And we're going, oh God, this can't get any worse.
Yeah.
So we lobby in, we into our 2 spots. We sit down.
Yeah, and it was just the most incredible week that we had with Soulshine. I sat on that floor and I burst into tears, and I just
Within 5 minutes.
Within 5 minutes, fight or
burst into-
flight of we made it, we're here.
Yeah.
Just as I think I've explained it, the power of Ubud and where we were and what we were going to be doing for that week. I just was like, oh, I need this more than anything. And then throughout the week, got to know Michael and Sarah, his wife, and we had dinner with them one night, and I went downstairs with Sarah, and he Cam and him went into his little studio and played Cam this song that he had just written, and it's called Happy is the New Sexy. So Cam came down after being in his studio. He's like, Jules, you've got to hear this song. Like it has you all over it. Like you've just got to hear it. You're going to love it. And the next day at yoga, so after each session of yoga, he would then get out his guitar and play acoustic versions of his song.
Literally serenade us to.
Isn't that cool?
Yeah.
Literally serenade us whilst we're.
You don't do yoga
down
and not
Welsh.
cry there. Like it was amazing. And then he played. He's like, "Hey guys, I've got this new song," and I got goosebumps in my legs and everywhere. And I was like, "Oh, I need this song in my life." So I then had a chat with Michael, and I said, "Look, I've got this campaign with Figure." I explained it to him how I choose, 10 ambassadors around Australia and New Zealand, and they apply to be my ambassador for women to see themselves in reflection, and they share a part of themselves. And it's all about, sexy isn't a size, it's a mindset. And he was like, yeah, let's do this. So we're now partnering together for my next campaign, because it's like two people that are so different, from either sides of the world, like just with the same mission. So it is the most amazing song. It just fills you with joy. It makes you so happy. And so,
I like to think that I produced it when I went into his studio. We had a couple of drinks, and then it was awesome. Michael's like, mate, come in. And he's got all his keys. It was literally just a normal hotel room, but he had all his studio stuff and set up, and he's got all the keys. And I'm sitting there, get like a producer going, yeah, mate, I'm into this. How about we get a little bit of riff here?
Little hand clapping here. More cowbell. More cowbell.
Don't go to the bridge there. They should go to the chorus there.
Triangle. I'm more than happy to triangle into it.
Needs more cowbell.
That's right.
But I said to Jules, this song is phenomenal, and you need it in your life, and that's exactly what happened.
Yeah, so he's just the most generous human being. So he's like, let's make it your anthem. So that will happen next month, and we're doing things a little bit different this year with Mother's Day coming up, and we're going to have mums and daughters apply together, just to make age inclusion at the forefront of it as well. But I think sometimes it can be a really complicated relationship, that one with your mum, and just to share all of it, like the messy, there's always love at the root of it, but it can be a little bit complicated. So just so women see themselves in reflection and feel equal, and that's the whole part of those Figure campaigns. So, and to have this song with it, I'm so beyond excited for it.
I know, I got goosebumps even thinking about it. That is
going to be great.
fantastic.
Yeah.
And I love that you already knew you were onto something when you heard the song, and then you just were like, yeah, this is it.
When you get the goosebumps in the legs, you know you're onto something good.
You know you're onto it. I love that. Look, you obviously are both incredibly busy people doing really important things. How do you nurture your relationship? What keeps the love fires burning, so to speak?
What do you think, honey?
I think communication's a big thing for it. And to be honest, I think MAFS rooted that for us, because it was such a big part of
rooted as in, what's the verb there? Is that grounded you?
Yeah. No, if you watch back the episodes, mate, we did nothing. We didn't consummate the marriage till about,
month in, which was probably like
32 episodes. So. That's where it was.
They added so much, like it was so much faster. And I was like, no, we adulted. We were a month 24/7. That was like 6 months dating. So we were quite proud of that. Yeah. But so it grounded us. Okay. I think being in that experiment, you talk so much, and you have to. So I think that was a really great foundation for us, that we do speak our minds and we do speak our truth to each other. And I think communication is definitely our strength of how, that we are always okay. We're definitely a team.
Yeah. Do you know one of the biggest things that I saw they did on this year, and it's something that we did, and it was by accident, wasn't it? Where we got married, we just met, and they had to remember they had to cut to different cameras, and they said, guys, can you just look at each other in the eyes for 5 minutes? 5 minutes?
It was a couple of minutes.
As an exercise.
It wasn't even an exercise. They think they did it as an intimacy exercise this year, and they've done a couple, and then some of the participants didn't go with it or whatever, but we accidentally did it, and they just said, just look at each other's eyes.
Yeah, so after we were at the aisle, before we got married, before we even did our vows, they were like, guys, we just need to set up a new different cameras from different angles. Okay. Just hold on. So we were like, we don't really know what to do. So we just held hands. And we're like, just stay there. And we're like, okay. So that meant we just stared at each other.
Hang on, this is before the ceremony.
Before the ceremony.
You just met.
Yeah. So we always feel like that really was our little... Yeah, like our moment.
Bonded us. It really bonded us. There was something that sort of happened when you, and it can be quite uncomfortable at times, but that was the full 3 minutes, and
felt like a lifetime.
It went for it did. It felt like a lifetime, but geez, it really set our foundation of being comfortable with each other, and I always think that's been our foundation, and again, communication. If something's been going on or whatever we're going through, whether it be conflict or whatever it might be, we we do have our moment. We talk about it, and we
Cam has the patience of a saint, so what can I say?
yeah.
I'm the feisty one.
And she knows when I'm upset or vice versa.
Yeah.
I think we had a conflict this morning. I was going to bring up and talk about it.
So how do you get through your conflicts?
Well, here's an example. This morning, Jules has a lovely eye for detail in house and making things look beautiful and pretty, but sometimes probably hasn't had the balance to go. We also do have a toddler, and some things aren't safe, and you just need to either let a little bit of mess go or something that doesn't look as pretty.
Getting so much better, thank you very much.
She is. She's improving out of sight every single day. And I respect that. But today was in the living room before we had Ollie, had this beautiful living room table. Beautiful.
Got a coffee table, honey.
Okay, that's what it is. Is that the definition? Is that
Right, I was going with you, Cam. It's all right. I knew what you were talking about.
Thank you for being there for me always. And it was in our spare room. We wanted to bring it back because it was just a normal wooden one. Didn't go so well with the decor. I get it. Jules always wanted this thing back. And I was just upset because our son runs around in the living room, just like literally goes hammer and tong and doesn't stop. And we've already had probably 2 or 3 ED emergencies for Ollie, with a couple of split in the middle of his forehead. I had one only last week in the back of his head. And that's just any parent's worst nightmare, isn't it? So this big, beautiful coffee table, although it looks incredible, I just saw danger all over.
Sharp edges.
Yeah.
Now it's wrapped with a proper kitty rubber thing all around the outside.
The rubber baby
so
bubble
we've
bug
come
nuts.
together on an agreement.
Yep,
It doesn't
yep.
look that fabulous now, but I've got my table back in there.
Yeah.
And it's literally a dodgem car. Like it's got rubber all around it everywhere.
Bounce off
Yeah,
it,
it'll bounce
So it was a happy medium.
It
so he
was.
had his say, I had my say, and we came together and we made it work.
I did. But then when she knew that happened, she came and just gave me a big hug. And then when we do that, we know that we're one of...
Thank you.
Yeah,
Got my
hence
hand.
or white flag, both of us type of thing.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that's how we know we do get stroppy with each other, or we do get upset with each other. But I think time sort of heals that, and then we let each other sort of cool down for a little bit.
Yep.
And I think it's never taking it personally. I think because we're so clear and open with our communication that it's never, I'm attacking you personally. This is just how I feel in this moment. And when we do that, have that clear and open communication, I think you can't get upset with each other. You just have to let it sit and come back, and then this is what I was
Yeah,
feeling.
and I think just, like on the weekend, he won his Manly Cricket grand final. I didn't, he went out for 2 days. Like I did think giving each other that space to be still the individual that you are, go do your things, like good on you, go have a ball. And he does the same for me.
Yeah.
So, and I think that's really important to still let people go and do what they want to do. Like just because we're married doesn't mean we got to be stuck together all the time.
Yeah, and that's trust. That's having that trust in each
Yeah.
other, isn't it? Knowing that you're safe with each other so you can then go off and do your own thing. And yeah beautiful.
And do you look ahead and make plans for the next 10 years, or just let things flow, or are you vision board creators?
We are vision board creators.
We are.
Okay.
But
do
in saying that,
manifest.
if we know exactly what we're doing next week, like that's a huge plus as well.
Right,
yeah.
Like that's a huge plus. We both share diaries in terms of if something goes in the diary, then it comes to me, and so being clear and open what we're doing come availability is great. We are definitely vision board creators. We've got big visions and dreams and goals for not just obviously just us as a family, but for what we want to create and the legacy we want to leave, and the people I think and the communities that we want to affect. I think that's a huge part of it, and create that ripple effect. But if you said 10 years, I wouldn't know. But are we in separate bathrooms here? Because I was waiting for that question to come up.
Yes.
Because we do have Jules is talking about this on
Yeah.
On my podcast.
yeah, talking about
Relax.
separate bathrooms, and we do. Jules has got. I've got our sort of ensuite, which I've just lathered that much paint on it to try to make
Brighten it up.
something of it.
Oh, he's so butch, isn't he? This is so-
And like I haven't got a bath. Like I've got this. So Ollie and I shower in there at night times, and because we haven't got a bath at our place, but I just bought a plastic tub, and he would just sit in there and splash around. And then Jules has got the nicest bathroom in the house, and she does her thing, and it's all. She originally painted everything pink when she was pregnant.
I don't know what I was thinking. I don't know what I was thinking.
Was that
you
goal
had a
setting?
moment.
You're thinking girls
yeah,
coming.
and then I had Ollie. It wasn't anything to do with like him, but I just was like, what am I doing? My bathroom's pink. So I had to do it all again.
So it's funny. I think that's a huge play if you're lucky enough to have separate bathrooms. We sort
Oh,
of do.
100%. You leave hair everywhere. It's
Yeah,
terrible.
no. We share. Well, I think we might be having a separate bathroom experience now because now that our kids have moved out, I think I might be moving into the downstairs bathroom. I
Nice.
realised that the other. We actually currently share a bathroom, the three of us. So it's Cam, me, and our youngest daughter, which is just not a good thing. It's really not a good thing. Oh,
It's more about. I think it's more about if you actually have a separate toilet.
Yes.
I mean, the bathroom's the bathroom, but a separate place where you can go and have a.
Yeah,
we
we
have
get the
we do
picture.
have an outside can.
Yeah,
so,
we
and
even
I
have
do
another
like that.
toilet, and
What's
even
the
Cam
common-
uses that one, not even his own bathroom for that.
Yeah.
gotcha. Yeah, it's true. Yeah,
Yeah, I don't mind sharing the sink or whatever. That's fine, clean teeth and stuff like that. But actually having a place where you can go sit down, number two, quietly, but a separate place to go.
No, I get it. I think
What's
that's
the
the common theme of all your guests that have been on here. To sort of, I think it's always such an interesting one. If you're that comfortable with your partner, and we do we do that. Like if Jules is doing, we have conversations all the time because time is so busy that this is a
where we're
5-minute
doing it.
conversation that we can get
Yeah.
in to chat about it.
Yeah. No, I think getting those moments where you can just have a little privacy and
Yes, that's right.
is really important. So, and that's where the name of the podcast came from too. It was like Separate Bathrooms and Other Handy Marriage Tips.
Yes.
Was the original title of this podcast.
Yep.
And it was things that we'd learned along the way. And when we've had separate bathrooms, it's been great. And then now we actually have, with the kids moving out, we have a snoratorium as well. So I can go to the snoratorium and spend a night there if I've had a couple of glasses of wine.
Snoratorium, I got it. Clicked on.
Snoratorium,
No, I get
yeah.
it.
So
I get it.
I don't want to keep Elle up,
Yes.
So it's like, I'll go sleep in
Ali
there.
doesn't sleep that well, but Cam sleeps very well.
Ah, gotcha. That's right. With our common interest, mate.
That's
I get it.
right.
I was in the snoratorium after a 48-hour bender the other night. I put myself there. It was all worth it.
Yeah.
All right, let's get into
Here
the
you go.
shower together. We do something called the 2-minute shower. It's just a little thing to end on where we'll ask you both the same question. And if you could just keep your answers short because we're conserving water, as we like to say over and over again, but the joke's gotten old. That's all right.
For you. Now, this might be our first listener today.
Right, got it. Okay, do you know what your partner's basic philosophy in life is? So what would be Jules's basic philosophy in life?
I think you said it before. Body image isn't a mindset. Sex isn't a mindset. It's a mindset.
Sexy's a mindset. Well
She's
done,
not really
mate.
paying attention.
Sexy isn't a size,
Sexy
it's a
isn't a size.
mindset.
It's a mindset,
Yeah.
and she's a phenomenon on body positivity
She is.
and image, and I absolutely love her about that.
Thank you, honey. Yours would be Live, Love, Embrace, which you have tattooed on your arm.
Oh, very good. Yeah, there you go.
Live, love.
And embrace.
Oh, I love it.
Beautiful.
Well done. Okay. Simple question. MAFS or The Bachelor?
MAFS. No one
Yeah.
even. That just has been cut, hasn't it?
Has it?
Yeah. Not
Maybe.
even.
I don't know. Well, the host's grown his hair really long.
I should have saw her in the day. Yeah, no, certainly. Do I have to choose one of them?
Yeah.
Yes, MAFS. Yeah. No, we are. No matter what, we are forever grateful of
100%.
MAFS and where we've come from. We don't ever deny that because it gave us this opportunity to meet each other, start a family, and have this platform that we can again share our objectives and values and everything that we're looking to do. So
Yeah.
we're very thankful for it.
What do you miss when you're not together?
I'm going to say our humour. We laugh.
Yeah,
we
we
laugh
laugh a
like
lot.
crazy, and it's funny, and it just really gets me. And
I actually enjoy missing Cam. Like, we do spend a lot of time together. And so when we have that time apart, I enjoy that. I think it's important to miss someone. And it's amazing how much you can think you want time away from your child. And then when they're away, you're like, I miss them.
What do you talk about?
That's all you talk about.
And that's what you
Go
talk
for
about.
a date night and we talk about the kids the whole time. It's like, okay, what about something else?
yeah. Our first ever date away. Ollie was how old? It was remember it was a Melbourne Cup. And Ollie wouldn't have been a couple of months.
Couple of months
And
old.
my mum came and looked after him, and we had our first ever date night dinner / lunch, whatever it might have been, or circuit. We had a
Lunch
few
went
drinks,
into dinner, went
and we
into
sat there and we went, "Gosh, this is going to be great." And we talked and looked at photos of our son the whole entire time.
Yeah.
It was just like, okay, so that's going to happen. And you speak to other parents, like, "Yep, that's normal."
So true.
But if we're away from each other a long time, like if I'm we're overseas from each other, like I think just hugs is one thing I miss.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, physical.
What the world needs more of is
More open, vulnerable conversations about how people are genuinely feeling.
Kindness. Yeah. Just being authentic and kind. I think actually, kindness, just being yourself. Like I think awesome things happen when you're just yourself and not just putting out to the world about how you feel about you. When you're just being who you are, good shit happens.
Yeah. I think you two are actually the epitome of that. And that really comes across like in everything that you do, how genuine you both are. So just wanted to say that.
Thank
Oh,
you,
thank
Ali.
you, honey.
Can you last question, describe each other in one word?
Oh, one word.
A phenom.
What's that mean?
wow, we never had that.
What does that mean?
A phenom. Just in every sense, you are incredible. You surprise me. You inspire me every single day in all that you do. And I'm thankful that you're by my side.
Oh,
You
thank
are a
honey.
phenom.
It's hard to put one word for you. I usually say they break the mold when they made you because you're very different to anyone else. So I'd have to say you're unique.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
That's beautiful.
A unique and a phenom.
I'm rolling with it.
A unique and a phenom.
A unique phenom. Powers
Love it.
combined.
Guys, you've been so generous with your time with us today. Thank you so much for coming in. It's been amazing.
Thank you
Getting
so
to know
much
you
for
both.
having us.
Yeah.
It's been wonderful. So
I would
thank you
just
so
like
much,
to
guys.
add, if anyone wants to apply to be a figure ambassador, there's like probably a week more to go that you can apply, and just go to figure.com.au and the ambassador section.
Yep, and we'll put all that in the show notes so you can just
Amazing.
click on that and we'll
Yeah, it's
figure
going
it
to
all out.
be
It's
amazing.
great.
I'm so looking forward to it.
And I can tell you, I've been there in every single campaign, and they're a lot of fun. I've seen women that have come because I'm just there and just helping out as much as I can. But I'm so proud of Jules, what she's doing, and the campaigns that she comes. But I've seen these women who are leaning into this campaign, and I've seen the growth in these 2 to 3 days.
That's amazing to watch.
Yeah, it really is. Not just over those 3 days, but then their journey over the next 12 months, because they're part of the Figure family and this beautiful tribe and this messaging that Jules is creating. And it is special to watch. So when you are listening and you would like to apply, I couldn't recommend it more.
Don't think, just do.
Yep, love that.
Beautiful.
Thank you so much, guys.
Well
It's been
done,
an
guys.
absolute pleasure.
Thank you.
Thank you.
That was a breath of fresh air
Yeah.
into the
that was-
bathroom.
That was joyous. It's so nice to hear the backstory of people like that, because you can have like this one-sided vision of like, yeah, MAFS and whatever, and they've done really well, but you hear more about it and you get to feel their relationship and see them together, and they're just so cool. They're so lovely.
Yeah, and they've made the most of every opportunity.
Yeah.
That's what I love about it too. They didn't go on that show for any
For likes, for
no,
nothing.
no, exactly.
They went on for
They
love.
actually went on there to find someone
Yeah.
at their right time in their life,
Yeah.
and they found it. And
Yeah.
they've made the most of it. And
Super genuine, and so much going on, so much about giving back, and
Yes.
that really comes across the kindness and the humbleness that they both have, and so a lot to support with both of them.
Absolutely. So we hope you've enjoyed this episode of Separate Bathrooms. Rate and review us if you can. It helps us get the word out. And we'll see you on the next one.
Thanks for listening.